Right? That way you're having conversations with and I keep the rules off with Nuna and Max, and we haven't nothing is ever the same. Depends on what I'm working on. For this one, I really, I drummed away. I really worked hard because I wanted to get the story down. So I think I came to it every day, you know, sort of like a job in a way, and I worked hard at it. Contrary to perhaps poetry, where I write it if I'm in the mood, or you know, it's like same with painting. If I'm not in the mood, I have an artist friend here tonight. She'll know, or a couple of artist friends. You know, it's when you feel like, you know, the spirit moves you and you're in the mood. Although sometimes if you have a show or something that you have to get done, you work hard. So I think for me, this book was more of it was kind of a job, I would say. It was a job. Whereas my first novel, I had a grant from the Banff Arts Center. I had 7 weeks of free food and a really nice studio in the woods, and 7 weeks, and I sort of just banged out the first draft. Andre told me to just vomit out the story, which is what I did essentially, because I used to be a person that I write one sentence and struggle over and make sure it was right before I went to the second one. He said if you work like that when you go to Banff, you'll never get past page 1. So that's kind of it. So I have to say I did have index cards for this because I had to remember past and years before. I mean, it's kind of, some of that is complicated. You have to make sure you get the years right and the backstory right. The backstory for me, there's a sort of a couple of backstories in here that I had to make sure to get right. So thank you for reminding me about that.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. Seems like years ago.
It was.
And I think much to Robin's dismay when he first rejected it, there wasn't enough of that poetry of the first book, I think. Am I correct when I say that?
Well, that's what I said, and I think somebody else echoed me.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, this was more of a road story. It's a road trip, and I think COVID, which is interesting, during COVID we really hunkered down, right? And we were really into watching Netflix. I think the fact that we were all sort of focusing on watching TV, I think it really affected how I wrote this book, and it comes across in this telling of the story. I think also it needed to be kind of a faster pace, whereas the other one was more of I sort of permitted myself the luxury of you know, languishing in the language and kind of writing about the North as, because for me and for the protagonist in the first book, the North is like, wow, you know, it's like it was a sort of a beautiful, unexpected experience, and so I needed to write that out in the descriptions of the North. This one does go to the North, but it's a little less developed, if you want. But I think I focus more on the telling of the story, and I think the fact that we were busy watching these police shows, and I think it affected how I told the story.